Alright, so I ended up doing one of these before, ended up getting deleted. The video was entirely too long. So I'm just on left hand side of where I initially started building at. This is the test world and all that. And I outlined a chunk right there with smooth stone blocks or whatever. So the whole purpose right now is to design an LV circuit automation system, and I'm gonna go through the basically the entire design process or whatever. I'm not gonna be talking throughout the entire video, just when it comes to anything that's important. Right here is the controller block for the greenhouse. I need at least two of these because I'm going to be using these right here to um, to make us trees or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the first recipes for the LV circuits. So to go over it real quick, this is the LV circuit right here. There's a couple different tiers. I'm going for the basic one. That's all I really need. This is all the components right here, and I have this already favorited, and uh I have the entire recipe tree right here. So this is everything right here, all the different components and parts or whatever, just to make one of these. And this is what you basically need just to make one. You know what I'm saying? So we starting all the way over here on the left hand side. So we need trees because we need charcoal, and then I'm gonna need sugar cane. That's what the secondary one is for. Even though I can just grow this in a regular farming multi block or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And cured rubber, cured rubber is another one. So right here is the actual recipe. It's sulfur and rubber, and I have to figure that part out right there, as well as I need to expand the recipe for the cured rubber if I could find it anywhere in here. Right here. And I did not mean to do that. That's what I hate about this sometimes. Sometimes it's a little finicky. All right, there we go, right there. And go in here, favorite that. I don't know what's talking about a block. Let's go into here and I didn't know you could just cook it up like that. This is the easiest recipe right here, but you have to actually fire this up. So I have to work my way around that. Cure rubber you get from jungle trees and all that. I just want to see if there's another recipe. I don't know why I keep doing that. Very irritating. All right, we set that right there. Sulfur. I have a lot of this already. Regal, Regal. Okay. I didn't get it from Regal initially because I didn't have that in the beginning. I forgot what it was that I was using to break down to get sulfur out of it. It was a byproduct from Galena right here, oil washing. I need distilled water for that. You have to make distilled water. I don't really want to do that. It's not complicated, but I just don't feel like it. So that means I need another sifting system, basically. And the byproduct I don't really need. The byproduct is the actual orb block. Just going through these recipes. I see it could take a little bit of time to actually figure out which direction you want to go for this. And we're gonna add this one. And this is the recipe we're gonna add for that. And crushed galena is that's not an issue because I can get that from sifting. So that's gonna be cobblestone generator right there. And the cured rubber comes from rubber trees. I mean from I need a boreal extractor on a jungle tree. That's gonna be the only issue with this entire automation because you have to physically grow a jungle tree and you can't chop it down, otherwise it won't work. And there's no other way to get rubber outside of Greg Tech. I mean latex outside of the rubber trees or whatever. But that's I need mystical agriculture in order to get that. So right here's what I'm talking about: rubber wood and jungle trees. That's my only two options to get latex. And rubber wood, I can't get a sapling for that. Yeah, I can't get a sapling for this at all. I don't know why they took off so many recipes. They took a lot of recipes out. So this is the only option right here. Like I said, it doesn't work if you cut down the tree. Maybe if you take the jungle leaves and add it to the jungle logs and see if that works. Let me test that out real quick. Boreal extractor, jungle trees, jungle leaves, jungle wood, and let's do a small test real quick. Yeah, it's not gonna work. How about a piece of dirt? The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to reduce the size of the footprint. Essentially, just saying I just want to make this smaller. I don't want to. No, I need a log. Let's get a jungle log. Let's get a log, jungle. Yeah, it's not working. So this is not gonna work. It has to be a fully grown jungle tree in order for this to cut on and actually start working. Let's get a sapling. I'm forgetting some jungle trees are 2x2s. Yep, that's not gonna work. Alright, so let's get a jungle sapling. I think you can grow them individually without it being 2x2s, but I'm unsure. I forgot. I really want that rubber sapling, but there's no way to really get it. Uh, See, as soon as I grew that, automatically cut on. Now if I break all the, no matter what I'm gonna do, I have to deal with a full size tree. So we're gonna see if this goes up. If it doesn't go up, then nothing I could do about it. It's the reason why I have a full grown jungle tree. When I first started or whatever, that was the only real way to get latex. And it seems like it's still the only way to get latex. I could have sworn there's a quest early on that showcased an easier way to what is this? Why is this? Oh, I'm bugging. I'm like, yo, why is my quest progress reset? It's like this is a different world. I forgot. Oh, yeah, there's a quest in here somewhere to get better. And I'm not even gonna be able to find it off rip. It's somewhere in the beginning. A better process for latex. Down here is no slime balls and resin. I don't think it's here. I gotta be in the next section. Just a glue bucket. Smart niece running around. About to scream at her in a minute. Which water? This is tedious actually looking for you. Just off rip, but something I want to talk about real quick is quest lines. I don't like the way people do their quest lines. I don't like stuff all over the place like this. Just simply make the quest line from left to right. And if you need to branch off, there's a branch off up or down. So it looks like, like a dialogue, like something that's a little bit more readable. Everybody does quest lines like this. It's ridiculous to me. I never like that stuff. Too many stuff all over the place. It's hard to actually follow to see where you actually at. You know what I'm saying? Liquid polyethylene's all the way over here. It's super irritating, yo. So I can't even find the quest for that, cause there is a quest line for it. It's diesel engines. It's infinite water. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it. Ridiculous, yo. I can't even find it. And the latex is an important part because you need cured rubber out of that. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I forget about it. um, let's look up liquid rubber real quick. Just rubber in general. See if we can find another way to make it. This is the way that I'm making it in my current world. Can't get blaze burn, so there's no point making it this way. I haven't done it this way. It seems like it take a little bit of time though, cause you still got to. This is a crafting step to make small piles. How about liquid rubber? I still have to run it through rubber pulp. I can get that from sticky resin and get glue over that. This is probably my faster method. Sticky resin comes from the slide take spores or whatever. Isopropene. Yeah, I don't want to get into all the different gases and stuff like that. I'm good with that. Hmm. I can extract it from. No, that's rubber leaves. Never mind. The sticky resin method is probably the best. And what is this from? An extractor. This is probably the best method. I get three out of that, but I need to produce. I needed sticky resin to go into another area too because I need it for the actual circuits. Yeah, this is gonna be the best recipe to get it. So that's that raw rubber pulp or whatever. So we can collapse. That's to get rubber sheets. Okay. All right. So we gonna take that off, and we're gonna add. Where's the rubber pulp at? Right here. Use that for MV recipe to make the actual rubber sheets. Yeah. All right. It's not an issue. I mean, I'm already generating MV power or whatever, so I can just do it this way. And that basic extruder that I've been having sitting around since forever, I could just use the machine for that. So this is how we're gonna get our rubber sheets right here. All right, so and then we need a lot of sticky resin. This is another automated system or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now that I think about it, I only need one multi block and then two of the farms. Well, one farm for this, the multi block farm, and then I'm going to need another automated sifting system. Let's take a look at the mechanical sieve real quick, so I don't have to make like a big bulky create automation system or whatever. Because I do have a mechanical sieve sitting in the storage and all that. I had to make it for one of the what's the names? What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's 5x5 multi, and this requires power as well. It needs a mesh as well. It's actually not bad rates. I should have made one of these used it a long time ago instead of using the system I'm using now. But the system I'm using now doesn't require any power. That's the benefit of it. It's only LV power anyway, 30 EU per tick. It's not bad. I can't get the slot take spores though. Give me a minute. You gotta talk to my 1-year-old niece about screaming all through the house. Alright, so we back. Alright, let's take a look at this. Well, this is the easier method. I could just put one in, and this is a 3x3 multi right here, and I will have to automate this right here, but you still have to sift for this. No, I already have one of these. I just need an infinite water source. Throw that in there. This is a single block. Four seconds, 20 seconds. Is this? I don't understand. Is this faster? It doesn't seem like it's actually faster, and this requires power. So I need another multi. And I can't do the mechanical sieve. I don't need that. Alright, so let's get rid of this. Let's get what the crop greenhouse was for the trees. The mechanical sieve I don't need. Large stone barrel I need. No, it's the large wooden barrel. Large barrel. Yeah, the greenhouse was for the trees, right? That is to make charcoal. You get charcoal dust, and that's for the resistors. Alright, so I need to be burning the logs. And let's take a look at charcoal real quick. And coke oven's not gonna do it, that's too slow. You got a Pyrolyze oven. It's not bad rates, empty, 32 seconds. You can also do it the create way, or we can do it the redstone furnace way, and then remove the recipe. You can't even use that. This is the easiest way to do it. It's going to be a little bit bulky to run that, to make a what's the name around that. The Pyrolyze oven I could do, but this is going to require NV circuits, 3 of them, NV electric pumps and pistons. I don't want to do it that way because that's too involved. So we're gonna do it the create way. Alright, so I need a terminal. The terminal is a GT tool that allows you to right click a controller block and it build the multi-block for you. So what kind of outputs we got on this? We got an input. We got 2 input buses. A maintenance hatch. I'm gonna put a output bus. Input bus is for items. That's where you put the items at. Output bus is where you take items out from. So we're gonna get a wrench first. I think I need a mallet, a soft mallet for the maintenance patch. I forgot how you do this dumb thing. I did it on my EBFs. Pipe is loose, screws are loose, planting is dented, wires burned out. I forgot what you do with the maintenance hatch. I gotta look it up. It's one of the tools. I use some tool or whatever, one of the tools and all that to actually fix the maintenance hatch and all that. Let's break and replace it. Still needs maintenance. So I don't like it, but that's stupid. I forgot the tool for this. I forgot the tool for it. Now I gotta look it up. It's something simple too. I'm gonna be mad when I find out what it is. I already forgot it. I don't really deal with the maintenance hatch on a regular basis. I only have like one multi that requires it. Wrench, screwdriver, soft mallet, hammer, iron bar on essential buttons to resolve specific issues. So I basically need all the tools. Let's put LV in. LV, that's gonna bring me. Let's get all the. Is there a page for that? Gotta be a page for GT tools or something like that. Machines. Items. And treat it with rubber bolts. Could probably use this in another. The next time I run GT is probably gonna be by itself, no create. You know what I'm saying? I'm already to the point where I already know the game loop and all that for it. You know, the primary game loop and all that. So I know what you have to do and what you don't have to do or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in the complicated technological tiers and all that yet. You know what I'm saying? I haven't gotten to that point yet, but the primary game loop is very simplistic. It's not as complicated as people make. You know what I'm saying? It's just time consuming. That's all it is. But for all of those people that burn through packs in a month, this is something that you're not gonna be able to burn through in a month. You know, I'm pretty sure everybody already know that already though. All right, so let's get a hammer. I don't need the drill. Let's get. They got wire cutters here. That's a wrench. I really want to make these upgraded tools right here because they, you know, they take energy or whatever. I think the only thing you really got to do is worry about the tool head, and I know that you have to repair it with a material part or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they run off of energy. That's the reason why. Let's get a crowbar. And a couple of them have abilities. It kind of remind me of Tinker's Construct type of abilities or whatever. You know what I'm saying to it. All right, so keep forgetting this is creative. See something stupid. I didn't even need a tool the entire time. That's because I don't play with GT on a regular basis. Anyway, all right, so that's done. You know what I'm saying? Fully formed. Um, let's get some input and output patches. Let's get a bus in here. What is that? LV. I need to check the recipes again for the greenhouse. Make sure the way GT multis work or whatever. Hmm. There's actual multi blocks specifically for mystical agriculture. It's interesting. Alright, so this is not what I was looking at for the recipe for this. So these are all LV recipes. And I think I'm just gonna stick with the jungle trees because I'm gonna need the jungle trees anyway. So automatically off rip, you're gonna need a. I know I need a cobble gen. I know I need a infinite water source. So that's aqueous accumulator, igneous extruder. Same thing I've been doing. Um, and I'm gonna do it the way I did the other ones. Just build it off the back of it. Uh, right. So I'm gonna put output bus right here, output bus right there, and I don't need two input buses, but it's fine. Just leave it the way it is. Definitely gonna do some kind of decoration on top of this because to me it looks stupid like that. Uh, use smooth stone. If anything, I'll switch it out for something else later on. I don't even know why I'm decorating this now, but to me things are irritating if they don't look decent. Alright, now we're gonna switch into effortless building. Alright, so that's the crab greenhouse. Looks a little bit better now. And let's turn this back off. And that's gonna output. This is gonna output into I want to say a super chest. We're gonna pull from the super chest. The super chest is gonna be our buffer, so this could keep running. Super chest 1, output directly to that. And first things first is let's get some. We need water into this, right? We need water for that. Yeah, we need water. All right. Water and carbon dioxide. Huh. Is there any easy way to get this? I already have calcite dust. And I forgot what I was macerating to get it. I have a lot of this, but I don't. This is not gonna be. It's not gonna be infinite. So right now I'm just looking for options on something that I can produce infinitely. I mean, I could produce this infinitely. It's gonna be convoluted to set up, or maybe not. So this is it right here, calcite. Calcite and just macerate that. So that's another automation. That's two. This is gonna be two large stone barrels. Same thing. Igneous extruder and I should actually just run this underneath here. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about it now. So these extra slabs are just to give me framework, and also I'm gonna have a lava source down here, so I don't want everything to burn. We're gonna cover up the lava source, and the aqueous accumulator is gonna go right here. Alright, so and then we're gonna have the stone barrel out here, the two stone barrels out here to make the calcite, and a system to macerate that down. I'm gonna have to use solar boilers. Let me do one thing at a time right now though. Let's get the aqueous accumulator up. Get one of these. Get the igneous. Need to get some pipes. Uh, I kind of want to deal with GT pipes and nah, let's just do what I've been doing because there's no reason to do that because they're a lot more expensive. All right, so we're gonna have aqueous right here, igneous right there. That's gonna supply all the water and cobblestone that we need. Let's get one of these. We're gonna drop this too. Bring this over right here, right there, right there, right there. That's the two sources: water source, lava source. Right here. Bring this around. Alright, this good, this good. Let me separate this right here. We're gonna pull it out from right here. And now I need a water bucket and a lava bucket. So water bucket, lava bucket. Alright, so that's the igneous right there. We're gonna put the lava source over here. Make sure this is covered. It looks like it's covered. Yeah, it's covered. Alright, so bang. And we're definitely not doing that. I need a regular bucket. Can I pick up the water source? Come on, where is that at? Alright. Water source there. Water source there. Alright, so now we're generating. Oh, need a water source right here. Alright, so now it's generating cobble. Just generating water. Alright, so that's our two sources. Then we need large stone stone barrels. We need two of those. And I said I want to drop them in the front. So I need to drop this down. Is this 3? Yeah, 3 and 3. Always try to make stuff symmetrical as well. Let's get this right here. Got that, this. And it's, I believe it's a 3x4. So we're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the level where it would have to be at. So actually drop that down one more. Alright, right there is good. Alright, one's gonna be directly right there. One's gonna be directly right there. Alright, so need the large stone barrels. Alright. One's right here. The other one's right here. And now I need the terminal. Bang, bang. Take this out. Alright, so that's good right there. Alright, we're gonna cover this up. I don't like spawning spaces, so this is the reason why I do this. Alright, that's good right there. Now we need I got an input. I need an input hatch and an output hatch. Alright, so water's gonna go into 1. I need to figure out where I'm gonna put these at. Yeah, one's gonna produce calcite, the other one's gonna produce lava. So this one right here is gonna produce the lava. So we're gonna take this out right here, and I need don't need that. Most all of this I don't need except for the wrench. Put that back. Don't need this. And not an input bus, an input hatch. The input hatches are for liquids and gases. So LV input hatch, and I need an output hatch as well. Alright, so input hatch is going right here. Output hatch is going right here, but we're gonna have it in this direction, so that's gonna output to rate to this one right here. So now we get our cables, get the fluid cables, and these advanced pipe upgrades that'll make everything faster. Item pipes, need item pipes. Alright, bang. Take that over here. Rain that goes in there right there. Is there any other way to make it look cleaner? Alright, that's a little bit better. And this is gonna be pulling cobblestone, so let's get the wrench out. Switch that. Turn this on. It's gonna be inputting lava. It's input hatch. Not a what's the name? So I need an input bus. Alright, so it's inputting cobblestone. We need a soul campfire for this. I believe it's a soul campfire. Yeah, soul campfire. Mind you, this is all stuff I did before, just working out all the logistics. Alright, so now this is making lava. And then output hatch is gonna go into an input hatch over here. We got input bus, 2 input buses. Alright, so now we need an input hatch. All this is like basically a large puzzle. That's all it really is. Alright, need an input hatch right here. And then you need that fluid pipe. So the fluid pipe comes into here. You set this one. You throw an upgrade into it. I don't have the upgrades. Alright, throw upgraded in that. It's gonna fill that up with lava, and then we need to pump water into this as well. So we're gonna need an input hatch. Where I want to put this. Let's put it in the top. Yeah, same thing. Bang. I throw one of these in there. I have to get a stack of these. I know I'm gonna need them. I throw that in there, and then we close everything up. Alright, so what are we keeping this? Keeping this. Need this. Already got that. Large farm, large barrel. Need this. I don't really need this. Need this. Need this. It's good to have these on deck, so I don't have to keep looking for them. But I don't really need it right now. You don't really need this. No, keeping this, keeping this. Alright, get rid of all of that. Alright, so this is formed. We have to set the circuit. Forgot what it is. I think it's 6 or something like that. The program circuit, you gotta set it to 6. So this is gonna be making calcite pebbles. Yeah, you gotta set it to 6. And I don't have for input hatch. I need an output. I need an output bus. So let's get rid of that. Let's get the output. I'm looking at it like I know I spelled it right. And how come I don't have circuit options? Something I'm missing. I don't have circuit options. Alright, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I just get a circuit. Alright, one of these. We need to throw one of these into. Do I need another input hatch? Alright, let's take that out. Let's put a ULV input bus. That's so I can insert this one item, and then we, matter of fact, set this to 6. 6. No, now it's saying I can actually do it without a circuit. Alright, there we go. Let's get rid of that, get rid of that. Alright, so now we're making calcite. Get rid of that. Alright, the way that I was making calcite into calcite blocks, because you need to macerate the actual blocks, was yeah, it's not too many options. It's the only other option, like I was doing before. And press it down into to blocks. I don't want to run a big contraption though. So I'm gonna just keep it simple. We're gonna take this. I'm gonna see if I can output it directly to a basin. Trying to keep it as compact as possible. A basin, and then we need a mechanical press. And does that fill up? Yeah, it does fill up. Alright. So now we could throw this directly on top of it. And then we could worry about powering it later. So the way this is this is basically taking up a half a chunk. One short of a half a chunk, and I got a 1 block gap, and then I have another one, so I should be able to fit another one of these in this section. So I want to try to keep everything in this section right here. Yeah, I want to try to keep everything in this entire section. You know what I'm saying? Because this is 7, this middle one equals 8, and then over here will be another one of these. So everything I do with create, I'm gonna keep it in this little section right here. So I'm gonna power the basin. I should actually just wire everything up now and stop playing games. We're gonna pull it out from down there. And what do we need to do after that? We gotta run it through a macerator. Any other options? Good, die right out of that. I was watching a series or whatever. Project Singularity or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When I started playing with this, because I wanted to see some other like experienced GT players or whatever, and they was talking about diary is a good it's a method to get some resource type or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what it was. And they was talking about, because they was talking about how GT nerfed it. GT and Ace, the new version of the pack or whatever, actually nerfed it. Of course, this is community edition, unofficial. You know what I'm saying? It's a modern or whatever. So, hmm, they'd be like, okay, what is this for? Is that just a building block? Is there anything I could do with this? It is. See, I didn't even know about it. It is. This is how you can get a lot of clay. And clay, you can turn this into aluminum. I could have been doing this a long time ago. I mean, it don't mean nothing now. Now I have like a quarter of a million clay blocks, quarter of a million, and then it breaks down into clay balls. You know, so that's basically a million. I'm sitting on a million aluminum ingots right now, and then I still have more. I have like 23K stashed off somewhere else in the base or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What's this used for? Sodium. I can get sodium and sulfur out of that. This is actually a good recipe. I need to remember that. Flint ain't really going anywhere. That's just what's the name? Uh, just that running this through crushers and you get like a ton of flint. I could have did this a long time ago. Anyway, so we need a macerator. I know one of the recipes required an MV machine or whatever. I'm gonna try to see if I can find a workaround for that, cause I don't have the circuits yet. We're gonna run that into a macerator. The only issue is that I'm probably gonna need a couple macerators because they're extremely slow. I mean, it's not an issue. The recipe itself, I don't. Yeah, it only requires 2 EU per tick, so I could have a ton of these. Uh, they all gotta go in. I gotta remember that part though. Let's do what I used to do before. That's what we're gonna do. So they're gonna go into the bottom, go upwards, go into the bottom. Need another row here. I want to at least get 16 down because that's a quarter of a stack right there. So that compacts everything nice and neatly. I still need space for I need to turn this around because I'm gonna run what I need to into that. And then you go like this. And then to pull everything out, we pull it out from the top. And we pull it out. So I need to actually run it. I could actually not run it through the middle. No, I need to connect that. And then wrap wires around this right here. So we could pull it this way. No, because I don't want it to actually connect. I don't feel like separating wires. It's only annoying to hate separating wires. It's super annoying. It's still gonna actually connect. And this comes over one, which I don't want. This is the puzzle part. I might have to just deal with connecting wires. Uh, you do have the universal wires or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, they feel like they don't want to work. Not the universal wires, the universal pipes. These supposedly can pull liquid and what's the names? Yeah, they won't connect. That's the only pipe that I know of that won't connect, and that's exactly what I need in this particular situation. And it's not gonna work because I need to stay the bang bang bang. And before I do anything else, I try to make sure everything is working properly as intended. Uh, Bang bang. We're gonna pull from all of those, and then we're gonna go hit the top, pull from that, and we can run it down. And I still have another issue. I need to run power to all of this. So I'm gonna have to come out with at least one wire because I have to wrap all of this in cable. It's still not an issue. And then we can run this way. You definitely don't want to insert back into. So regardless, I'm gonna have to let's get the superconductor wire. And I don't really need a large wire. I just need we're gonna do 16 amp because it's 16 machines or whatever. Yeah, right here. That'll do. Alright, so we gotta run it this way. And alright, so this is in the way. We're gonna run it this way. 1, 2, 3. Just gonna connect them in the middle. And then that's gonna go to our solar panels. And we can run the solar panels up here. And this is gonna be, I wanna have at least one solar panel for every single machine down there. And a battery buffer. So that's 7. This is 7 right here. And then we're gonna run another 7. That's 14. And then we're gonna run another line just to keep everything even. Alright, so now I need let's get rid of all of that. I need a wrench. I need a wrench and I need wire cutters. Alright, so first things first, connect all of this up. Alright, get rid of these open connections. Alright, so all of that's wired up. No, it's not because I forgot 2 of them. Alright, so you're gonna run this around. That hits those 2. And we need to hit this in the back. And sitting on another problem. So let's get rid of that, get rid of that. Run this around. And we could just loop this wire. Can we loop that wire? No, it's gonna be in the way. Alright, we're gonna have to come around in the other direction. Alright, so attach this. This is not attached. And connect that right there. And this is not attached. And we need one more right there. Alright. Alright, so that's fully wired up. Now we have to deal with the input pipe. I guess I could go through the middle. Yeah, let's go through the middle. That only makes sense. Get rid of that. I got the middle exposed right there. That hits yeah, it hits all of that, so we need to come down. Yeah, I don't like that connection. Let's do that. Alright, so that hits all of that. Inputs in all 16 of these, and then the black ones pull everything out. So you're gonna pull that out right here. Right there. Alright, so that pulls out from all of that. Or I could run it in the front just to save some space. Let's try to run this in the front. Alright, so that's in the front. Alright, nice little, it's compact, nice little compact module. And got calcite pebbles on there. I need to dang, I didn't want the calcite pebbles to go in that quick. Cause it's gonna clog up the machines. Alright, it don't matter. Alright, so we hit this, and then what we need to do is get the upgrades, and we're gonna filter this to only put in calcite blocks, pull out calcite blocks. Submit that, and then we're gonna throw a filter on there. Need a calcite block. Alright, so this filter is basically telling this basin to only make calcite blocks, nothing else. And then I need to check all of this and make sure, get rid of all these calcite pebbles. Also need to set that to round robin. It's a lot of stacks. Alright, so save this. This goes down there. Save this. This goes down. Get rid of all of that. The reason why we're setting this to round robin is so it can evenly distribute to all of the machines evenly. The other ones are basically to say the closest destination in the pipe is gonna fill that one up first, and go to the next one, and go to the next one, go to the next one. That's what's set by default, so that's what I don't want. And I still don't like the look of this connection, so let's get rid of that. Pull this out to right there. All right, so that's that. I need solar steam boilers, but I'm not gonna set them up yet because I need to run water lines into those. And what we're gonna do that is just wrap this water line around. Of course, I don't want it to touch anything. I might just run it through the top part right here. Get rid of that. No, is that good? That's not gonna work. Okay. Did it waterlog it? Why is it leaking from right there? That's a water source. All right, so we're gonna do is grab one of these blocks, plug that up real quick. All right, that's good. All right, so that's not gonna work. I didn't want to wrap it around because that means I will have to separate it from this line right here. Or I could throw a fluid cell right there. Let's throw a fluid cell right there. That'll separate it. I don't have too many options in this pack. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those cases where I wish NDIO was included. It's included in the light version of the pack. Alright, so that should separate, and then the water line shouldn't connect to it. So we're gonna run the water line down this way. That's also acts as a buffer, so good as well. And pull this out, and we're going to run this up here. I forgot what this is. Oh, that's for the trees. Okay. You need to be mindful of that. That's in the way. Alright, we're gonna run this upwards here. Here. Alright, so now that's not in the way. Need to get wrenched real quick, so, and I don't forget that I need to turn this. Of course, that's not what I wanted to do. Alright, that's how I need it right there. I actually don't need to run that upwards. I could keep it at the same level. So that's the input bus. There's nothing in there. Alright, so now, no, that's still gonna be in the way. That's still gonna be in the way. Alright, so I don't want to be in the way of this either. So we're gonna run this across there. We're gonna marry it over here, and we're gonna bring this up. And actually I need to run this on the bottom. Can I run it on the bottom? No, this is directly, no, I can't run it on the bottom. So that presents a small little issue because I need to bring this up one. This is for all the solar boilers, 1, 2, 3. I don't want to do this. Let's just get rid of this. Let's just get rid of this. And we're gonna create a mesh for the solar boilers. And I don't want to get in the way of this right here. Just need to go up one. feel like I don't really need it to wrap around two different sides. I maybe should extend this outwards a little bit. Alright, we're gonna get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of it. Get rid of this over here. And I'm gonna have this wrap. So I have water coming in from both sides. And I'm gonna wrap it from here. I could just do it from right here. I need at least one spot right here though. And this is gonna extend all the way down. Alright, so let's get the solar boilers. So this is what I was talking about. You hear them automatically running. If I would have wired this up after I put them down, they would have all exploded. So what we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I feel like I just want to extend it to 6. Leave it at 6. What's 6 times 3? 6 times 3 is 18. Alright, now I still have a problem. Now that I think about it. I need to get rid of this line right here. I want it to be even with this, so let's get rid of this. And we're going to move the water line to right there. Let's get rid of all of this. The reason being is I need to run a cable in between here to pull out the steam. Hopefully I can do this with the universal wires, but I need another row of steam solar boilers. Really, it's not good to wire mesh stuff. You need to really run it like a snake, run it in lines like a snake. I could do that, but you know, whatever. So that's 21 what's the name? That's enough to basically run all of this. No issue. I don't even really realistically need this many, but I don't feel like doing the calculations. Alright, so we got that going, and now we need this right here because this is gonna pull out the steam, and hopefully it works as intended. And I just have to this needs to go into battery buffers. So we're gonna have the battery buffers right here on this line. And then I could just bring them down and then connect all of this up to it. Alright, so let's get rid of all of this. Let's get the battery buffers. And we're gonna get a 16x. Right here. And we need actual batteries. We need those. We don't need this many. I think I'm just gonna use 116x battery buffer because I don't need a lot. Let's toss that. Where we're gonna toss it. I want to do it sideways so it links to all the other ones. I'm gonna do it, put it right there. That's just one over. Or maybe right here. I thought this would connect to it. Oh, I know what it is. Alright. No, what am I doing? I need a steam turbine. I need a steam turbine. Need a steam turbine. Alright. Bang. I'm gonna put that right there. Actually, these need to be open. Damn, no matter what, I'm gonna come out to the 8th block, which I don't really want to do. I think these can function sideways with the fan, if I'm not mistaken. Or I could just put them right here. Call it a day. Now I just need to set these to pull. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that's done. These are gonna go into the battery buffers. So I just really want one. Just figure out where I'm need to actually place it. So we're going to place it that way. Place that right here. Right. So pull this out. I'm gonna connect that right here. Store our batteries in. And we're gonna connect this. I need a wire cutter. I think I have one on me. Yeah. And connect that down here. That's filling up with power. Alright, so now let's get rid of this. It's just annoying me. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Alright, so now we're gonna pull this downwards out of this part right here. And these superconductor wires don't burn or melt really. And you don't need to cover them. So I don't need rubber coatings and all that for it. Alright, so now that's connected and that's gonna power all of these machines. So they're all full of power now. Alright, so that's connected. Let's cover this. Always cognizant of mob spawning. Alright, so that's all connected. Now this is, what line was this? This is the extraction line. So we need to set all this to extract. I'm not gonna worry about throwing in upgrade cards and all that into these. So these black pipes can handle fluids and items. Right now I'm just using it to separate item lines and fluid lines. I wish they had more configuration where like you could color code the cables and all that, or just something that's more like NDIO. Like it's a shame that like I said, they have NDIO in the light version. You know what I'm saying, of this pack, and I kind of like the light version a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? It's more direct to the point, not as convoluted. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of mods in here that a lot of people most likely will never use. All right, so that's done. That's done. All right. Now we need to either expand sideways. We're gonna expand sideways to fill up this spot right here, and then we're gonna expand downwards and upwards. And this section right here I have to actually leave open. So let's mark that out real quick. I might throw something in between here. I could, like a space in between here. How much space do I actually have? I only have 2 blocks of space, so that's not really gonna work. I could throw the power system for the press down here in there. Speaking of which, I need to actually wire that up. All right, so let's get a shaft. Let's get a vertical gearbox. Let's get a regular gearbox. And I know I'm gonna need a speed controller, but I'm not gonna deal with it right now. Alright, so we're gonna run that out one, and then run this upwards. That's where we're gonna start at. Actually, might not do that. Might grab the power from another direction. What I want to do is create let's create a water wheel section over here, and that's not going to work because it's going to cover everything. I'll try to encase the water right here, make a encapsulation little module or whatever. I could run the water wheels this way. No, I could run them this way. I can run them this way, and it's not going to block the steam boilers. Alright, so do that. Connect it that way. That's going to capture the water. Let's get the water wheels. Need a solid block. And I always do my automations in the air so I can, I can bracket everything out and see what size the footprint is actually going to be for it. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're gonna drop the water right here. And we can pull the power off from this direction over here. And maybe have a rotational speed controller down there, a rotation speed controller. Alright, so now I need let's get rid of this away. I need let's get the rotation speed controller out now. We're gonna need a large cog, and I'm going to need I need observers. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I need dispensers. Alright, so for every 3, I only need 2 dispensers. So if I put 1 here, then the water's gonna run to the sides and catch these 2. If I want one here, it's gonna catch this one and then catch this one. That's the reason why I only need 2 dispensers. And then we use the observers. I don't know which way I want to power this. Use the observers to activate everything. So the observers are gonna go in this direction. So it's gonna send a redstone pulse through both of these from this line. You know, I just connect the line upwards or whatever where I'm gonna actually power this at. Probably right here to power it. So just to see what that would look like, then let's grab one of these. That line is in the way. So from right here, go upwards. As soon as I put a block in front of this, it'll trigger. And you can hear it right there. Now we need another one facing this. No, that's gonna need one facing this way, the other way. So the power's coming, going this way, and then we need another line coming up. And this is where I'm gonna have to twist these around. Right here. So that basically created an observer clock right here. So I just need to get the wrench out and twist that around, change the rotation. Alright, so that's it. So now all I gotta do is just put a lever on here. And that's gonna function as my lever, my on and off switch. Alright, so let's get a lever. And that'll trigger these up here. So now we're gonna get rid of all of this and get a water bucket. The reason why I don't use a lot of dispensers, or try not to, is because it's very tedious to get a lot of water buckets because they don't actually stack. And now if I give this a flick, everything should turn on. Oh, and I made a mistake. Alright, so the mistake is I didn't turn the water buckets downwards. And I also need to wrap these, put an extra layer down here so it falls down evenly. Alright, so this one needs to face down, and this one needs to face down. Grab that. Make sure this is fully encased. Alright, so now it should fall straight down, no issues. And there we go. Alright, so now we can just pull the power off of that. I could just put the rotation speed controller in right in there. I'm missing a bucket. Alright, let's attach the speed controller right there. Or the thing right there. Add that right there. do an encased chain drive. I'm using an encased chain drive instead of a shaft to connect to this, so it'll actually block the watering. And then I could just pull this downwards. First thing first, we're gonna set this to 256. And we're gonna pull the power downwards. And I could twist it sideways, but the reason why I don't want to, you can twist chain drives sideways, but the reason why I don't want to do that is when you run schematics or whatever, it gets messed up because it doesn't remember the configuration. It's MBT data attached to it. Alright, so I need a gearbox. This is how I'm going to bend it sideways. Right there. We're going to do another one right there. And then we're going to do another one right here. And then we could just run a shaft straight to that. Alright, so now, once I add this, everything will turn on. How is that overstressed? You kidding me? Can I just get 128? Nope. Can get 95 though. Alright, overstress is at 90. Alright, we can get 96. That's fine. Alright, I don't feel like this is gonna be fast enough. Or I need multiple. Do I have any? I don't have any more space either. If I run any more, it's gonna slow this down. I could run at least 2 more presses and 2 more basins. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna run 2 more. And for anything else, I'm gonna separate this. And this is gonna kill my power, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's overstressed already. And I want to set these first before I connect them. Maybe I should just disconnect this right here as well. Just run 2 lines down here because I want to set the filters for these. Gotta remember to set that to round robin. Alright, now connect them down here. And we're good to go. So now that that's overstressed again, that means I need to reduce the speed again. Okay, we need to get 32 on it. Yeah, it's only gonna be 32. Oh, and I have another issue. I need to actually pull this out to send it to the other 2. I'm getting calcite dust out of this. I forgot what I was even using that for. I gotta check the recipes again. I gotta check the recipes again. I forgot what I was even using it for. Alright, let's X-nay this for the time being. Let's get rid of that for the time being. Take that back out. Speed this back up to what I had at 96. Revisit that in a minute. I need to take a look at what I was actually doing with the calcite. What was I doing with the calcite? Calcite dust, right? Carbon dioxide, was that it? To get carbon dioxide? I feel like it was the carbon dioxide. Oh, for the tree farm, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, I need the carbon dioxide. Alright, so what I gotta do after electrolyze that, I gotta run that 2 electrolyzers. Alright. Alright, so which the output line is right here. Should I do, how much space do I have? It's 1, 2, 3. I can go 8 electrolyzers, but that might kill my power. Can I put it over here? Yeah, I could put it over here. Alright, so let's get the electrolyzers. And we're gonna put it, let's put it right here. Right. Will I be able to get everything in there? Alright, so we got this. That's gonna feed into this from the bottom. Actually, I need to just drop it down. I need to drop it down at least one. Alright, so this is mostly covered as far as power goes. I'm not going to be able to get to this one without going on the bottom side. I could pull it out from the top, so that's not an issue. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to go, where's my wire cutters at? The wire cutters, we're going to clip that. We need to get this. And we're going to run through the bottom. Hook that up right here. Alright, so that's all wired up. And I think I have another dilemma. Alright, so we're gonna run it in to the top. How we do this in the beginning? Maybe I just might do 4 instead of doing 8, because I still need to pull from the top and the bottom. Yeah, let's do 4. We're gonna do 4. Alright, so we're gonna get rid of this cable right here. And we're gonna run it through here. We're gonna run it through the middle. And that's gonna power all 4 of them. Alright, so that's good. Get rid of that. Now how we look at on the power. Still constantly going up. And alright, so this line is gonna come through the top and then we're gonna pull through the bottom. Alright, so we pull this out here. And we could do something like this. Actually, let's close the gap on that. As close as I can get it. And just for aesthetics, we're gonna keep it like that. And we already got tons of the stuff already. And why is it not moving? Because it's an MV recipe. Okay. No, that's not what I was looking at. It has to be a chemical reactor. It has to be a chemical reactor. Alright, so get rid of that. Throw that there. Throw these up here. That up there. Alright, so get rid of that. And that right there. Where's the other ones that fell down? He's got power on him, right? Yep. Alright, so why the recipe's not running? Oh, you gotta set the circuit to 1, alright. Alright, so that's power is good to go. I need to actually drop this cable. Let's get rid of that. Wire cutters. Clip that. Yeah, take this off. Drop the cable one. Clean this up. Alright, and now we're gonna pull it out from the bottom. And that is going to go into, what's the byproduct for this? quicklime and carbon dioxide. So I need a super chest and a super tank. Actually, that's not gonna work because I'm going to need more than no, it still can work. I just need to turn this one. I need to turn the face of that one. Let's turn this. I need to turn the actual block. Can't tell if that's turning. That turn, yeah, yeah. All right, so we're gonna need this. Pull off of this, and we're gonna need to pull it out and wrap it around. So we're gonna pull it off of here. That's that one. That's that one. And pull this. And drop this down. We're gonna come around and connect to that one. So pull that out. Pull that out. And super chest here, super tank there. Set that up, set that up. Set that up. That's good to go. And all we got to do is just program the circuits. Alright, so this is going to be programmed to 1. That's running. Alright, so we should see an output in a minute. Alright, now we need the carbon dioxide to go into the tree farm, which is all the way back here. I shouldn't cover this up. I can pull it through to the bottom, bring it up, upwards. And we're gonna go right here and we're gonna call this an input hatch right there. Forgot the recipe. That's jungle trees. I didn't even need the carbon dioxide. All of that, now I didn't even need it. Oh, but it gives you a stack. And it produces oxygen. I forgot I got to power that as well. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even need it. All right, so uh, input hatch, output hatch right here. All right, so input hatch, output hatch. The input bus is for the actual logs, and we also need an output bus. Let's take a look at the recipe again. I'm gonna need a super tank, and a super chest. It's interesting that this is not actually outputting anything because I haven't configured the sides to output anything. No, I'm gonna say fluids right there. And this should be still not outputting. Maybe just run everything in the back. I hate these configuration things because it doesn't work right. Not bugging, this should have been filling up. Oh, these right here. Okay, these are set incorrectly. Okay. It's still not filling up. It should be. Come on, man. Stupid. Stupid. Alright, anyway. Instead of wishing him, I could just run a laser node from here. There's nothing I could do with the quick lime, so I don't really need that. It's just a byproduct. But super tank's gonna go here. Output check is gonna go here. Make sure these are set up to LV input hatches. This is gonna be, I need a fluid cell right here. Yeah, so like that. And we're going to see the output is back there, and input is gonna be on top. I need a node, and I need a fluid card. Need 2 of those. Need 2 of these. One's gonna be set to extract. I need an advanced laser connector. I need 2 of these. Alright, so the node's gonna go right here, and this is going to insert it in there, and then put this right there. I need the laser wrench. This is going to connect to that, and over here I need the node right here. I want to leave this spot open for another connector maybe, or pipe, whatever. So this is going to connect to here. This is going to connect to here. Now I need to put that over there. Forgot I need a fluid cell down here. Alright, so let's get rid of this. Put the fluid cell right there. Get rid of that. Put the node here. Turn that off. It's going to import from this side. It's going to send out to that side. Put the node right there. They're going to block anything. I feel like it is, so we're going to move that. Gonna move that to, just move it right there. Connect that to that. Connect that to that. And then connect that to this again. And throw the card in. That's not the west side. The east side, throw it on the west side. Nope. What side am I looking at? That's west. So we're gonna throw this on south. Yeah, south. Pull that from there. Send it to here. And we're getting carbon dioxide. Alright. So the next thing is going to be the water. We need another input hatch, and we're gonna run the water line right here. Let's get rid of that. So I'm gonna run this off of that up there. So now that's getting water. Alright, all we need to do is just throw the trees in. Does it have to be the actual logs though, or is it gonna be the saplings? A latex plantation. I never seen this before. Apparently, I can't make the block, so that's off. That's off the what's your name? Can't make this. All right, so let's look at the sapling. Yeah, it's gonna be the sapling. Sapling on two. Throw that into the input. Set this to two. And what will it look like? Why is it idling? Does it need air? Alright, let's just say that it needs air, right? Why is there water up here? Where's the bucket for this? Alright, let's turn this off for a minute. And still drop the bucket. Alright, so let's get the water bucket. Let's get another water bucket. That might have been my issue before with not being able to speed this up. So that basically waterlogged this block. It's interesting. And I can't break this block. So I'm gonna have to just leave that as we're gonna take this whole row out right here and make that solid blocks. And my water bucket's back in there. Actually, I don't need to do that because I need that. And do this. Alright, let's turn everything back on and see what it does. Alright, and that's fine. Alright, let's see if I can speed this up anymore. Yup. Look at that. So somewhere around here. Alright, 160. That's max we could do. So that's a lot better, a lot faster. $178 buckets. It's not bad for one mechanical press. All right, so that's in there. This is still idling, I believe. Yep. So let's pull out all of this. Let's see if that works. Why is it idling? Maximum tier is ULV. That's the reason why it's idling. Alright, so we need to take this out. Get rid of that and put an LV. And put bus in there. Alright, so when it's saying maximum tier is ULV. That's ultra low voltage. That's the first tier, first technological tier. After, well, it's the second one. That's after the steam age. And well, it's the first tier technically. And the only recipes you can run in this machine are going to be ULV recipes, and it's still saying ULV. Why is it still saying that? It's LV maintenance hatch. It's LV, 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 LV. I want the tree greenhouse. Everything else is LV, so I don't understand. Alright, so now it's research time. Did I actually build this for no reason? Alright, where we at on time? 2 hours in. I'm gonna cut this in a minute. Might stop it and revisit this. This shit'll work. I don't understand. It's a greenhouse. Greenhouse. Maximum thing that I need that's required is the maintenance hatch. So I wonder if the ULV machine tier is actually hard coded for this multi block. It shouldn't be. If it's hard coded, that means that it was hard coded specifically for the pack. So all of this is fine. I don't listen to something. No, I can run it. So what is actually determining my? All right, let's hook it up to power first. Where's energy hatch? I don't have an energy hatch on this. Uh, where can I run a wire at? I can do it right here. All right, so let's get an energy hatch. All right, you take this. You need to run it from down here, actually. Let's run it here. Let's get the wire cutter. So that's filling up. All right, now it's going. I know I wasn't bugging. Let's just take a look down here. Output bus. Alright, so that just finished producing something. Alright, we got a bucket of we didn't get any trees. Alright, so the gas is going here, but the super chest is not getting anything. And there's no output. I don't understand what's going on with that now. So where the trees actually going? We just getting oxygen. I should have 2 stacks of 64. Instead I have nothing. Let's move this for a minute. Let's move this. Let's move this. Drop this down there. Alright, there we go. There we go. There we go. It just wasn't showing up. Alright, so that's done. Cover that up. Cover this up. I don't know if I should cover this up. I'm thinking maybe just leave it. Put some lights up here though. Make sure nothing can actually spawn up there. On the inside of the farm anyway. Yeah, that's fine. F7 that. Turn on carpet. It's all good to go. It's all lit up. That sound crazy. That's a crazy sound though. I could actually make a beat out of that, honestly. All right. That's the first part done. First part is done. All right. So now, um, let's take a look at the recipe again. This covered. Sugar cane is gonna be covered in a minute. We need a sifting system. Our distill we're gonna have to import, and the red alloy cable we're gonna have to import that into the system from an outside source. The wood pulp is just 3 slabs. Run it through a cutter to get. I will have to get rid of the planks though. We'll just save them for something else. You can run it through a lathe. It works out because it gives me the strip oak logs. Yeah, we could run it through a lathe to get the strip wood for this, and sticky resin needs a sifting system. Said that before. This needs a lathe. Sugar cane is gonna need a 3x3 multi. We're gonna go with the sugar cane first. I forgot what I was doing for the rubber pulp, but I know that comes from the sticky resin. Alright, so let's get the 3x3 multi out of the way. I guess we could put it down here. Well, I have enough space over here to do it. I do, but it's not going to be inside of no, that's not a 3x3, that's a 5x5. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to drop that. I really want to see if I could just put it up here. I don't know which place will make this most sense. Let's get the farm out. Also need a large barrel. I forgot what I needed the large barrel for. I feel like that was rubber pulp or something like that. Right here. Witch water with the slide take spores or whatever. And the witch water is just mycelium spores and water. I actually need 2 barrels. It's gonna be 2 barrels. So we're gonna throw those down here. And what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're gonna throw this down here for the bottom. One block space and another 3x3. Right, and we're gonna have those facing the same direction. And let's get this out. Construction incomplete. That's because I need to drop it down a lot. No, there's one block space in here. So what am I missing? Or is it? Yeah. All right. I need to drop these down a block. All right. Stack covered. It's actually one block too high, but that's fine. And one's gonna be mycelial spores, and another one's gonna be something else. And I think I'm gonna call it right here. This is gonna be part one. So for the most part, all of this is up and running. You see the build already. You know what I'm saying? It's not encapsulated yet. No framework on it. You know, that's gonna be in the end once I get everything down. And I'm getting there. So take a look at this again. We also need a large farm as well. So I guess I can put that down as well before I leave out of here. And then the next thing is gonna be seeding system. I really want to make that a little bit more compact. I felt like I should have placed this back here so I could put the yeah, I'm gonna just place this. Let's get rid of this. Right. So we're gonna move all of this backwards. And I think I'm gonna leave these brackets right here the way they are. Alright, we need to bring this up one because this needs to go up one. That is the wrong thing. But this is what I was talking about. This is what I need to bring up. I could just leave it like that. I kind of want this forward though. This is supposed to be the large barrel. Where's the water line at? The water line's right there, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem to get it down here. Alright, that's there, that's there. What the large farm was for? I forgot what it was for. I think it's the sugar cane. Yes, for the sugar cane. Alright, so that we want how many blocks of space we got in here? Yeah, I want that right here. Hopefully it's not gonna be in the way. Wrong thing. That's in the way. Alright. And I need a little bit more space, so I need to pull this forward too. We're gonna drop it right here. Alright, that works. And I have my what's the name down there, so I can put the water source in. And then I'm gonna clip it from right here. And when I come back, then I'll complete the rest of this. But that's most of everything done. It's not gonna be as self-contained as I thought it would be, because just off rip, like copper I could do and make an automation and make copper plates. Wood pulp I can do. Red alloy plates I could do this, because red alloy is really just nothing but copper and redstone, and the redstone you get from sifting as well. But I'm gonna end up with a lot of byproducts, so I have to make an entire cobblestone generator that runs cobblestone, process it all the way down in the dust, and then I have to sift that, and then I'm still gonna get all of these byproducts. It's not a bad look. I don't know if I really want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Let me see something real quick. Is there any other method besides sifting? Cinder flour? No, never. Never mind. We ain't doing that. Crushed iron. This is a method. I could do this, but because I'm already sifting anyway, so be able to get crushed raw iron, I could do it that way, so I don't have as many byproducts. Or I could just run it through a mechanical sieve, because that's gonna give me the most out of everything. And I will have to send this into my other storage system, or just create a separate storage system. We're gonna do the mechanical sieve way. So everything down here is good to go for the most part. Glass is nothing but quartz, so that's just crushing up sand. And this is easy to do, and just crushing it and cooking it up. So everything down here is basically easy to do. I forgot how I was getting the rubber pulp, but I had a little automation set up for that. Was that running it through the extruder to get the rubber plates here. This is the issue, steel, because the only way you can get steel is through an EBF. Currently, that's my only real method, is through an EBF, or go with the PBF, which is a primitive blast furnace. And then I would still need carbon and what's the name? I mean, I could do that other method to make the redstone with the iron, and just cook up all the iron that I'm producing to make the steel, and use the charcoal to add the carbon element, so I could turn the iron into actual steel. I do have an EBF. I think this is one of the yeah, I have an EBS because I made this already. Well, I don't have these coils. I definitely don't have those coils. I could do it with the Cooper nickel though. But this is expensive. It's around 120 EU per tick. That means I have to calculate how much what's the name I'm generating, how much power that I'm actually generating with the solar boilers. I'm probably gonna have to add to that. I don't want to put an entire EBF down here, but me being me, I'm crazy enough to actually do that. And I still have to run the oxygen. Oh no, I'm already making the oxygen. Look, all of this is working out. I'm already making the oxygen. Yeah, so we actually might make it 100% self-contained. No, I'm not making oxygen. Am I making oxygen? Yeah, I'm making oxygen right here, 36 buckets. So I can make this entire system self-contained. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it entirely self-contained, self-sufficient. I know I'm gonna have to actually expand this. I know for a fact that I'm gonna have to expand. Um, I just don't know. I can maybe add one more line onto here, another row down here, and then another line down here, and then I can run these wires up two, run them up two, and add a whole secondary row. But it's only gonna be 3 rows, and hopefully that's enough. I have to really do the calculations of how much these actually produce, or how much power you actually get out of this. I know it's not going to be a lot. I mean, it's still, this is not really what's the name? This is, this is steam or whatever, so it's not really LV level power. You know what I'm saying? But it's enough to, it's not actually enough because these are all dead. That's crazy. All of that power that I had in all of these batteries, it drained all of that. And these can't even keep up. There's no power. There's no. Yeah, this can't even keep up. It's already struggling. Yeah, so I don't see any other real method. You know what I'm saying? I can't make solar panels yet. That's what I really want to make, but I can't make this yet. And all the rest of this is nothing. This is all easy to make except for this, the MV Circus, which is the reason why I'm automating the MV Circus so I can make it. Yeah, the only other thing I can come up with is a combustion generator, but then I need to go and see what type of fuel that I can actually run with this. So I'm definitely gonna need more solar boilers, which means I can't do if I can't get the power situation established, then I'm not gonna be able to do the whistling. That also means that I need to separate this, move this to the side. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Share a wall. That's another 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gonna cross over into this side. Or I could put a separate form up on top of here. Let's see if the tree form actually works with its roof coven. And yeah, go for there. I'm not gonna think about it too much. I'm gonna just go watch a show right now. Go eat, watch a show, whatever. Come back to this tomorrow or something like that. So let me bang out of here. And as always, make a backup before I leave. I need to get rid of all my old backups or whatever.